always fail to start on time or hit the right buttons or do whatever it is we're supposed to do. Yeah, I'm not touching Miles Morales 39 except for right now when no one's watching.
Good call. Good call.
I actually the cover is amazing for that issue.
Yeah,
I just
I
didn't
really
want to
liked
throw it's a great cover and the story. I don't know if you've been reading the story, but it's a fun story. Like the Slim and 38 was the big book. 39's not quite as big, but it's still just completing the story might be really good to sort of pick that out. And the Spider Smasher character and everything. So there's your Miles Morales plug right here at the beginning of the show because I didn't actually put the image in, but check it out. That's just and actually have it behind us. The Spider-Man is
I
behind our
saw
head
that.
here. But yeah, that's sort of that.
Hey,
I
man.
tried. I could not make myself go to the LCS on New Comic Book Day or even today or last. There just was no interest in any of those books.
Yeah, I went, but I didn't
And
buy it. But I didn't buy anything. And I went because I was hanging out with my buddy and we were like right across the street. And he was like, "You want to swing in there?" I was like, "Sure." It was funny because he was asking me like, "Oh, I didn't know this was coming out," and then I knew like stuff to tell him, and I was like, "Yeah, I actually know about every one of these books," which is weird. That's really weird.
well,
And he
is it?
bought all kinds of stuff, and I left going, it's a pretty shitty week.
Well, that it's so like when you're in your shop and you hear people talking about books, it's like, okay, am I that guy? Do I stick my nose in? I mean, already we're running a podcast, so I am that guy.
Right.
But to stick my nose in and go, actually, the storyline is this.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah, I'm just glad I get the the benefit of your knowledge every week. So I'm like, oh yeah, Mesh told me all about this.
well, but at the same time, I get schooled. Uh, I get schooled by people in the comments. I like it. Sorry. Yep. Gameplay. You ended up buying. Yeah, it's hard when you go
Yeah.
in. You get convinced. The book that people fought me on in Facebook groups when I posted my article was Gwen verse 3, the Captain America. They're like, there's so many first appearances. I'm like, dude, I've told you this in multiple shows we've talked about. The Gwenverse characters are not first appearances, but well, I mean, most of them aren't because if you go all the cut because they all have a first cover back Secret Wars
Right.
stories. So it's like there's already been a Cap. But yeah, no, yeah, gameplay. When you that's why you can't show up at the door. Like you can't if you don't go in, you can't buy. But yeah, if I'd gone, I would have of course had to pay for whatever was in my pool. So there probably was something there, and then yeah, I just did not. And that doesn't mean I didn't hit up shops, but I did not go to that shop. So where my pool is and where new books are typically. But yeah, let's jump in and look at this past week and see if there was anything worth talking about. And look at that. So we're gonna jump in and look at these books. There's definitely more this week. There's definitely some heat this week that we're gonna talk about. But we gotta look at last week. And the only thing that I can throw, I'm leaving it blank. The only thing I can put up there is a calculated man. People are sort of buzzy about this. There's always the rumors, the option rumors. People are going, should I buy a lot of them because options, guys? Indie options have a window of about a week that from the second the option news is out but if it comes out before the book hits FOC, guess what? Your store's probably bought a few more copies. So it's not quite the same. And they usually go for double cover for a little bit, and then they come back down to earth. If it becomes a TV show, it might last a while. If it's a movie, you have about a 3-week window if the movie's good. What Walking Dead and Invincible, basically if Robert Kirkman does it, you have a good shot of the books continuing to increase in value. But Old Guard, people enjoyed that movie. The book crashed. There's second movie, now it's coming back up. But it's one of those books that I sold it as soon as the movie came out. I liked the movie, but I was like, indie books don't last.
Right.
Held on to Umbrella Academy too long. And now they're back down to $20, $30. I mean,
Yeah.
which if you paid a quarter, no big deal. But if you paid $20 for it, you're like, oh crap. Yeah. But this is the Ambassadors Edition. What was it? The Aftershock does this Ambassadors Edition for their issue number 1s. So stores get like one copy, sometimes maybe two. But this is the David Mack, and we didn't like the covers for the incentive.
I thought they were terrible.
But
Oops,
this,
did I say that out loud? But this is awesome.
yeah, I love this. I mean, it takes me back to the old school Daredevil when Mac did the covers.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's just I'm going to try to track one of these down because I wanted the book just to read it, but now to get this one of all the ones, I saw one sell for $30 for this book, and I saw there's one listed with a bid of 30, and then two listed for $100 each, and that's all I see right now. Now it's only Thursday; the books came out yesterday,
Right.
so there might be more listed, but usually I've also seen these ambassador editions. People try to sell them real fast and try to make $30, $40 off of them, and then they'll eventually fall to $10. So I don't know about this with the maybe option Hulu news floating around. It might be especially if you get it for $15 or so. So let's jump into new books. There are a lot of sort of fun new books. This being one of the fun ones. I'm a big Miles fan. I'm a big Moon Girl fan. I think I almost have every Moon Girl book cover that's come out. There's a few really obscure ones I do not have, but I've tried to collect them all.
The Pope. Do you have the Pope?
I do have the Pope. Mine, I had a corner torn off of it, so it's not in mint condition. But I knew that buying it, I was like, okay, I'll pay you $50 for this one because I know it's a $200 book.
I love that cover.
Yeah, it's a great cover. I have the issue 1 for 20. Like I have the run, but I'm gonna pick. I think I've already ordered one of them, pre-ordered, but the Momoko in center here.
It's actually cute.
Yeah, I mean it's perfect. I love the reflection of the dinosaur in her eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like this. I'm a big Carter Randolph's his style and fan, so the one for 25 maybe worth picking up. Evidently, Moon Girl's doing like what if Miles. They're just doing one shots where she's paired up with different superheroes. Because they're supposedly the animated series is coming out this year, but I don't know when that is.
Yeah,
so
I was about to ask.
They're just prepping you and getting you excited about the show. So now here's your fire. This is every store knows about it. It doesn't really matter. It's still going to go for double ratio. It might even go for triple, quadruple ratio. Catwoman 44, beautiful deco cover.
Yeah,
beautiful Friston cover. I think there's also one other cover in this.
I think so.
And then you have this one for 25. Harley's in it. So you got Harley, Catwoman, Sozo Maki's doing the cover. You get the word bubbles. I wish I did zoomed in so I could actually read what they're saying. But it's so much going on in this picture. It shows that Sozo's more talented than just doing sexy girls, because yes, they're sexy girls. That's what sells this cover. But like, there's just so much more detail in it, and I appreciate that. I have not bought any of them. Have you bought any of these?
No.
It's hard as a
after I missed the first one.
Yeah,
I was like, because I've seen the others, but I just haven't pulled the trigger.
It's hard because if I can find it in the back issue bin, yeah. But like, it's really hard for me to pony up thinking that if I buy it for 50 and I can sell it for 75, but if I don't sell it for 75, then I'm stuck holding a book that I don't believe in.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't. I truly go after books for stories. I think you do too, or the art.
Oh yeah, or the art.
So it's like, now I like Deckel's art. I like Friston's art sometimes, and I like Sozo's covers, but I don't like Catwoman. I have yet to read a really good Catwoman story. Now I know there's some out there. I take that back. The beginning of this, Joel Jones, when she first started writing him, it wasn't half bad.
Yeah.
But
Jelly Jones is a pretty good storyteller.
Yeah. Did she do Lady Killers? That was her?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Cliff Chang's Catwoman thing.
The Lonely City?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I haven't finished it. I read the first two. But it's a pretty good. But it's like Old Man Logan version. So I'm always a sucker for Old Lady Harley. Yeah. Which I didn't buy that, but you get the point.
Something's Killing Children's coming out. Dude, for the second I saw this cover A, I was like, "Oh crap!" I haven't been excited about the cover A's for a while for this, and I really do like this one. The purple, the eye, the coming out of the belly, is just ridiculous. And then of course,
my first thought was that doesn't really make any sense. Why would you have teeth on your eye? But then, it doesn't have to make sense. It's a monster. So, but I was like, Purple Man?
And then the center one for 25 is Oliver Barrett. Never heard of this artist, but it's a great cover.
Yeah,
I mean,
lots of
it's one of
energy.
the, especially for as many bad exclusives that came out for Something's Killing the Children for issue, I guess it's 21 or 22 or whatever. It's so nice to see. Okay, there are some good artists still out there that no one's heard of that can actually do a decent cover for this character, because it seems like they always reproduce the same homage. She's holding a
Yeah,
blade and she's bloody faced or
yeah.
whatever. And then this Frisson one for, there's this the bloody one, the one for 75. Then there's the one for 50, and then of course you got the ones with the mask. But it's actually, hey, this is legit. Wearing the
Yeah.
mask. There's a reason you wear these masks. I don't know who this character is. I'm sure people that are reading the books. I'm basically a trade behind, so I have not read. I have them all. I just haven't read them. I have not picked up any of the incentives for it. So, but the Barrett is one I considered actually almost bought today, because I was like, I do sort of like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Here we go. So, what
Good
do you
timing.
think?
Good timing.
Are you?
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that it's good timing. It makes sense. I don't know much about Black Adam. I think I've read maybe one trade with him in it. But I really like this A cover.
Yeah.
And this guy's doing I guess the first run. So I looked at 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Not as awesome as this one, but very good.
Oh, nice. Double O,
Yeah.
glad you're with us again on time for the show.
Double
I'm
O.
so excited. Yeah, the Black Adam, this cover A is ridiculous. Like, if it was an incentive, I would consider buying it for an incentive. But it's a cover A. You can. I love it when the best art is on a cover A sometimes.
Yeah.
Perfect timing for the movie. But at the same time, I do like this one for 50, the Cully Hammer, especially because it's that golden age feel, even though he is not a golden age character. So
when is his first appearance? I don't even know.
Depends on, I guess technically they're sort of it is in Shazam. Someone help me out. I think it's 26 maybe, or 20. You always ask questions that you should.
I know I should ask
It's
them
in the
before and then give you time to prepare.
It's in Shazam 26, I think it is. Maybe it's 27. But he's right on the cover. And then you get like DC Comics presents something. He's on the cover versus Superman. Those are like the two books people want.
Is that from the 70s?
From the 70s, Bronze Age, Bronze Age books. And then there aren't a ton of good Black Adam covers. Okay, and then Double O's hitting us with, yes, there is the other version for the Marvel family back. Yes, and that was always I was cautioning. I was like, okay, I think it's the Marvel family, the Golden Age, way back before they're actually, I think, a part of DC. I think it was Wiz Comics or whatever. Okay. But that's that weird thing. Most people, what I hate about. That's what makes DC's books so hard to spec on. Is because Batman and Superman are obvious, but like there's the Golden Age first appearance, and then there is then there's the 60s or 70s, the first time he showed up there. Yeah, Shazam 28 is the re-intro. So I was really off. It was 26. Nope, 28.
That's pretty good though. You were close.
Evidently not close enough, because these guys can correct me, which I appreciate.
Yeah, but they know, and you know so much stuff, man. Sometimes I ask and I get a 30-minute explanation when I was like, I just wanted to know Shazam 28 and it's $30,000. You know, like,
well, yeah, no, Shazam 28 is not. I know it's climbing. I don't know what it's climbing to,
but it's pretty high if it's that old. And did you like the trailer?
Yeah. Oh,
I did too.
I was excited. It's the right mix of DC being serious and then DC being silly. Yeah. It was also just nice to, with all the stupid crap that DC has going on with Ezra Miller and Amber Heard and all those other movies. I'm like, okay, it's nice. Is
Shazam going to be in it, you think?
That is a wonderful question, and for some reason I can't do any more comments. So
because Paige asked me, because she saw the trailer and she was like, "What the heck is that?" And I was like, I think he's from Shazam. And she was like, "Oh, I loved that movie." And I had forgotten that we had watched it together and that she liked it so much.
Yeah.
Because the last DC movie that she like tried to watch with me was like maybe Dark Knight Rises, and she was like, "I can't do this." I was like, "Oh my god, you have no idea how bad it's become." So, all right. Anyway, let's move on.
All right, some covers we liked. We're still in DC, but this is Dan Morris's great cover.
He's awesome.
I've gotten to appreciate him more. He's been
Yeah.
doing the Once and Future books, which I love, of course.
Mhm.
So, but he also did a run of Power Rangers, which were some of their better covers as well.
Yeah.
But this is the C cover. Everyone it's that weird spec because they showed the cover, they announced it before FOC, but it's a Batman Superman fusion. You can still find them for cover price. It's a really awesome design. I like the design, the character, but
Yeah.
really, Batman Superman fusion. I mean, that's not going to last that long. I mean, unless it's an alternate universe that they bring it. It has. Does the symbol sort of remind you of the Iron Fist?
Yeah.
Like that's
I like-
what I
I
look
like
up.
that.
Like it looks like Iron Fist's symbol.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Uh,
definitely got some dragon stuff
Yeah.
going. But I mean, I like the design.
Yeah.
I wasn't really interested in this book until now. I mean, the whole Batman Superman World's Finest coming back. I was like, yeah, whatever.
No, I'm with you there. Like I will pick this up to look at it. I think I have issue 1 because they had those great slap covers even before
yeah,
Will Smith.
you loved the slap covers. You always have.
So, but then of course we both love Batman the Knight. I think we both read it all the first 5 issues.
Yeah. I didn't even read the solicitation for this. Did you?
No, I don't even
Because
care.
I'm like sold. And
Yeah.
both A and B, he has a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And the B is really good too. I kind of hate how good these covers have been because I always get the cheaper one, but I always want them both.
Oh, I know the Federici is ridiculously good,
Yeah.
but the red, the way it pops on these covers is always so good. Even then, like the last cover, they took away the red. It was like, oh, the white's fading into the title.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun when I have a bunch of them to like look at them and lay them out next to each other, because you like very rarely see comics that way.
Yeah.
Unless you or I are sending pictures of a run that we found, like then you see. But that's a really good way to look at them when they're all laid out sequentially. You know, you got your connecting covers, of course, but like it's cool to see how an artist reinterprets the story in one image over and over.
Especially when the cover artist is the interior artist.
Yeah,
like that's what I like about the cover A's of this.
Yeah.
But for Federici, like because he's doing all the B's, it's sort of nice. Like, okay, he's doing these like ridiculously awesome, very gray, dark interpretations.
Well, when you have a really solid series like that, like they're doing, like it's just so good. I like when you bring in a guest guy and you've got like, oh, well, here's the one for 25. It's somebody that normally wouldn't do this. That's cool. But as the artist, as producing something, like to have such a like vision for it as it's coming out, I love that.
Like this Radiant Red, it's just a fun cover. The Rogue Black stuff, or not Rogue Sun, Radiant Black.
Yeah,
Radiant
I can't believe you get this mixed up like I do. Like, I had what's the original one called?
Radiant Black.
Radiant Black.
And then
I was like, they're on number 4, right? And you're like, they're on like a 14, man. I was like, I don't know what is what anymore.
And I haven't been reading them. The covers, I sort of like this cover. The Rogue Sun one is fun. If you haven't seen it, it's like a day in the life type thing. It's almost Rogue Sun's like on the chair. I can't tell now. I want to say it almost looks like one panel show. I can't tell what's going on, whether he's sitting at the table or if he's tied to the table or tied to the chair.
Oh, nice.
Sexy girl. Here's your panel, sexy cover girls. This is Voices, Marvel Legacy Pride, or whatever you want to call it. This is the Jen Bartel cover. Of course, obviously that's Black Cat. I think that's one of the Spider Girls, but maybe not. Maybe that's a Jen Bartel's interpretation of Peter Parker. And then I can't tell who the girl above is, but it's Bartel has her followings.
Somebody will tell us.
I can't get the chat to pop up. So,
oh, you broke it. Nice.
I broke it. When we actually get comments, I don't know what to do. I get 5 and then it stops.
Sorry, fellas.
Yeah. Let's see if I can.
Is that a Grimm Fairy Tales?
That is. I have to admit,
Kinda
I never. Oops. Let's go back. Why can't? Oh, I never pull up Grimm's Fairy Tales books, but and you knew I'd pull this up because it's the negative space looking variant. It's
Yep.
everyone's sort of new favorite.
And it's white.
It's white, so it's I don't. I mean, outside of this, now will I buy this? No.
No. Of course
These
not.
books are never worth anything. They're not flippable because there's so many convention exclusives.
Who is buying all these books, man? Like it was like Samurai Sonia and Sheena and like they're like Elvira. Like
Yeah.
it's like the week of like the cosplay is like cover F. Like every one of these books has like 10 covers, and it's like who is buying all this?
Well, in Dynamite's one, I've rarely, actually, probably never really ever show their books. There are people that that's what they collect, and that's just not us. That's not what we like. I mean, if you like that cover tunes, Mike Morello, he will usually feature a Red Sonja book or actually he bases off a cover artist, but typically his cover artist he prefers do the Dynamite books typically, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just not the way I go. I do though. At the same time, here's 3 slides. This is Arthur Adams, the close-up, but this is everyone's favorite rogue. And you go back to the Jim Lee Savage Land little run. A lot of people wish those covers were worth more. But this is Arthur Adams. This is one for 25. I do actually sort of like it. I like just because Arthur Adams is one of those guys. You can't explain sometimes why you like his style, but then you do.
Yeah. I like his full figures. He's got a dynamic like gesture that he can usually grab.
Yeah. What was that one a couple of weeks ago where it was like a giant group shot?
Yeah.
But
I am gonna buy that X-Men 12 though, just not that cover. I'll get whatever is there because I accidentally am reading this. and now I'm like looking forward to it every month. I'm like, crap.
Okay, so is there actually a gala happening again?
I think so.
Okay, I haven't kept up at all. It drives me nuts. There's all these little Hellfire galas that every couple of years where they get together and have a party or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess this is the second one. I don't know.
I just know there's like Russell Dodderman does like entire series of covers, and then this time like there's the Miles Morales 39 has a gala cover, and then the random books will have a gala cover as well. Red Room Trigger Warnings 4. This series feels like it's not coming out every month. Because I can't remember the last when 3 came out. It's been a minute. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is just a messed up cover. The fact that Pisker did an entire like screwed up looking character with the painting behind it, which is a screwed up like he purposely like here's the torture of the guy to make it look like the painting. So if you like bondage and S&M, here you go.
Have you read any of that?
I've tried. It's just not me. I think I have issue 1 maybe somewhere around here.
I read the first arc and I was like, what did I just read? Yeah. I think a couple of these Punisher War Journal Blitz covers are pretty good.
Yeah, they're the white one. I can't. It's always so hard to choose. Like, okay, I don't really want to talk about Punisher War Journal. I haven't read any of them. I don't know anything about the story, but like I did like this cover and I like the white background cover. But to me, it didn't warrant a slide. It just warranted us doing this.
Yeah, that's fair. How do you feel about the new logo?
I don't know the story well enough to care. Like, it's nice to be a different logo. I don't know if he truly is going to stay with the hand the entire time, though I don't envision that. Then I can live with it. But if he's not going to be a part of the hand at some point, you almost have to go back to the skull.
Is this going to be a blue Superman type thing?
Yeah, or the lightning bolt.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one, man.
That's the one. Which actually, the second print has value of that. Back in the 2.
I might have that actually. When it's a quarter, you buy it. I like it. I think it's a good place to go.
Can you pick? Do you have to know Punisher to be able to read it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
because I picked up one when the new Punisher came out or whatever, and it was fine. But I didn't buy 2 or 3. I was gonna. I'll get the trade when it comes out.
Yeah. No, I might read it. It's also one of those, you go down your list of things you're reading. It's like, okay, do I put Punisher on the thing or do I not?
Yeah, he doesn't usually warrant much for me.
But then there's
Actually,
people that love Punisher.
yeah. Well, my buddy Dan that I went to the shop with this week, he freaked out when I told him I hadn't watched the Netflix Punisher show, because I had no idea he was such a Punisher fan, but he's like a huge Punisher fan. And I was like, oh, weird. People don't talk about that very much. And that's not true. Every time I go to a big sale, there are guys from like opposite walks of life who end up like, oh, you're Punisher guy? Yeah. And then they're like instant friends. Yeah. And I'm always like, microchip.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
All right. The only reason I threw this up here, this is an unlockable Ariel Olivier cover. Like the style, we only find them when they're dead, number 11. There's evidently 2, I guess, unlockable variants. I don't know how that really works with Boom sometimes, but I can't find this particular cover listed anywhere outside of Midtown. Midtown has it, but the DeMeo or whatever the other one, you can find several copies of the unlockable. So I'm curious to see. I don't know if anyone's actually reading this series, so it's out.
I read the first arc, I think, and it was okay.
It was something about the interiors bothered me a little bit. Like
it's a little too flashy. It's a little too something. Like if it was flatter, I probably really would have liked it.
I think that was it's a little too much shine. Like
it's all over the place, and that just, instead of clarifying it for me, that just muddles everything.
Yeah.
Again, I'm gonna say the same thing I say every week. I like it when comics look like they were made in the 80s. Like, not yesterday and Buzz Lightyear drew them, you know. Although, how many days until I go see the Buzz Lightyear movie? It looks awesome.
Only because she's back. Trish Forstner from Stray Dogs started on My Little Pony. Here she's doing a 1 for 10 incentive. Throwing that up there. Just if you're a Stray Dogs fanatic and Trish Forstner, and we actually had her on one of
friend of the show.
She came on the show.
I'm allowed to say friend of the show, because the only friend of the show, really.
No, we got 00 and TT gameplay.
So yeah, when are they going to be on the show? We got to make that happen.
Silver coin 1 for 25. This is number 11. They hadn't been doing incentives.
Yeah, I was thinking that was weird.
I read the first 2, but I haven't been keeping up with this. Did you read any of these?
I flipped through the first 2 or 3, and I like Michael Walsh in that who's doing it. And I don't know. It seems kind of all over the place, and
I'll
read it one day.
Yeah, at least with the first 2, especially the coin is the only thing that keeps the thing. It's a different deal with the devil type thing, the magical coin type, and it always ends up bad. Then you got the sketch. Usually I don't, sketch parents are okay. I like this one. It's so nice to see all the sketch from Gary Frank's art.
Well, Gary Frank is so good at the line work, and you can really see it, like see it with this. And there are so many things that, like, I mean, anytime I see a noir Batman or I see a black and white anything, like I went down a rabbit hole today looking for a Zaffino, the senior, black and white short that he did, because I have the color and it's awful. The color just destroys his line work. Yeah. And I found somebody online who said, oh, you should order the black and white. And I was like, there's a black and white version? It's called 7 Block. Have you ever heard of that?
Nope.
The story's fine. It's Chuck Dixon, I think. But his artwork is beautiful, but you can't see it. So then I started looking up, oh, well, if there's a black and white version of it, then there are pictures out there, and it's so good compared to the color. So, I mean, Gary Frank is one of those guys that it's like, why are we destroying his line work? with these airbrushed things.
So, guys, we promised we weren't intending to spend 20 minutes on the My Little Pony slide, but we are.
But we are, because Joe's an
Uh,
idiot.
Indie Spotlight, guys. I didn't want to read the Lonesome Hunters, but then I read the solicitation. Tyler Crook does the art and the interiors. Dark Horse is actually putting out some books that interest me right now.
Dark Horse is doing some. They're trying to be a little more indie. It feels like.
I mean, they're no longer are the site of a Hellboy and all the versions, and yeah, but the Lonesome Hunters, the solicitation, crotchety old man, monster hunter, and a young girl protege type thing, but like unwilling mentor mentee type thing. So it sounds sort of fun. I like it almost looks like he has a sword from God Country.
Yeah, or Hellboy.
Or Hellboy, yeah. So it's
the Sword of Hyperbola, or whatever that's called, which was an awesome little miniseries, actually. Because I'm still the guy who buys the Dark Horse Hellboy like spin-off shit.
Speaking of shit, no, going your shell and cowboy here. The art's just fun.
Yeah.
Did you get the first issue already?
Oh, yeah.
Not the first, whatever. Yeah, I guess the first issue.
Yeah, of this run. Yeah, it was good. It takes them a second to kind of warm up, unless you start in the middle of decapitations. And this one kind of started a little slower than normal. Yeah. And then the B cover is Frank Quietly, and it's great. Yeah. And the C cover is Ed Piskor.
Yeah,
from Red Room fame, right?
Yeah, I couldn't decide which cover. I was like,
did you look at that cover? Because it pissed me off. Because it's Shaolin Cowboy with Red Room characters in the background.
I did not look that closely at that.
Yeah. So if you're not paying attention, it's fine. But if you're paying attention and you're like, none of these other characters have anything to do with Shaolin Cowboy, this is Ed Piskor being selfish.
The Dara do a cover for him for Red Room?
Yeah. But I don't think he put the Shaolin Cowboy on
it. It makes me want to go back and look. No.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It rubbed me wrong. Like, no, I don't know. Snow Angels, great. Looks good. I read the first one. It was good. It's like Jock is kind of dialing it in.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, I'm going to do this with, I feel like he made this book in 2 weeks.
Well, it was, of course, you could have read it all in Comixology before it came. So it's that tricky, like...
It feels like it was, I'm not getting paid a whole lot for these pages because this is a digital thing. But also, Jeff Lemire's smart. Like, there's no backgrounds in, like, anything because it's just this snowy expanse of nothingness. So, will I buy the volume 2? Yes. As I complain about it.
All right. So here's some indie books that I'm just throwing them out there. Essentia, I can't figure out the release schedule. It seems like it's like every 3 months sometimes or every 2. This cover I've known about for a while. There's actually a white version of it as well. She's still wearing white, but the background is white as well. But David Nakayama's doing the cover. If you're a collector of his, this is going to be a little bit less printed, just like the Ben Oliver before this one and the Perillo. That doesn't mean they have a lot of value. But it's just sort of one of those things to those collectors. It might be worth, if you find it for cover, it might be worth picking up. If you're a Finch fan, this is the Finch
a Disturbed fan.
Or a Disturbed fan. The McFarlane did the first incentive. David Finch is doing this incentive, but it was that weird McFarlane. It was like his worst McFarlane ever.
Yeah.
It was him and someone else, and just didn't even really look like McFarlane. But yeah, I don't know. This could have value just because there are Finch fans out there. But the bad thing about Finch fans, you can find all those X-Men, the great X-Men covers from the 2000s, and like, okay, well, they're better than this, even though this is like him trying to combine 3 X-Men characters into one or something.
Right. It is interesting to see this Opus company showing up again and again.
Yeah, they're playing whether or not they can continue, they played it right from the standpoint of going to get every boy or not man our age fanboy. Let's go get those people because they actually spend money, and they
Right.
went and got them and put them on incentives. So it's like crap. Well, I gotta buy 20 issues because that guy collects McFarlane covers or that guy
Right.
collects
Well,
Frazetta.
it also seems like they're kind of doing this. Let's produce books that already have a fan base,
Mm,
and that's smart, like
yeah, it's just a
so.
matter of like we need to read it and see actually what happens in the book to see if it's worth continuing.
Right.
But I love this Jones's cover. I like the premise of this series. AWA puts out. I mean, I've read a couple of AWA series I haven't liked, but overall, I love their approach. I
Yeah,
love the
me
fact
too.
that 5 to 6 issues usually, and then if it's I don't even know what they deem as successful, but if it's successful, they come back with it.
Yeah.
But it's
Or they just freaking move on, which I
yeah,
love. Like Mike Tadejo Jr.'s like doing half their books. Like
oh yeah,
they've just got him in a room and they're like, draw this, draw this, draw this, draw this.
but he
Because I
seems so
feel like,
happy. Like
yeah, I
he
know,
promotes
and
the heck out of those
he's
books.
doing good work.
Yeah.
They have a new one coming out. I can't remember what it's called. I think it starts with an A. And it's Mike Taddeo Jr. It looks pretty good. Like it looks like a little bit more comic booky than some of the AWA stuff.
Yeah.
If that
Well,
makes sense.
and the great what I appreciate about AWA is if you follow them on Instagram or sign up for their newsletter, you get if you want to just read their books, you wait a week or two, and they'll eventually let you read half the book or whatever because they just want people talking about the books like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And then they want people buying their books. They want shops talking about them. You can find their books to read, and I mean it's really good. Like and they turn half their books into web comics, so you can read them on your phone. I don't know. I've really appreciate, but I usually try to pick up every issue number one for their series, and then like
Yeah.
I bought every issue of Erratic. I wrote every issue of anything to do with the Resistance story. I've tried to sort of pick up. Like I haven't picked up this is issue 3. I picked up 1 and 2. I haven't read 2 yet, but they're just fun series.
Yeah. I've liked a bunch of their stuff. Like I say it like every other week, but that Grindle, Kentucky thing, man, I wish they would do more of that.
What helped you was like Tommy Lee's first thing in a while.
Tommy Lee Edwards, and it's beautiful, man. It's freaking beautiful.
Set like where he lives or something. Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
He lives up in the backwoods of Kentucky, I think.
He lives in North Carolina, but
North Carolina.
it is the backwoods of North Carolina. Yeah.
Well, all I know is I when he doesn't post any pictures of what he does for comics. It's like him working on his car on the farm.
It's always his car on Saturday, yeah, or his dogs. Yeah. There's a great interview with him from a couple years ago that he like goes through his whole studio.
Yeah.
On YouTube, it's awesome.
More indie books. I've read The Solicitation. What do you think about the Beware the Eye of Odin?
Man, I love the title. First of all, A+ on the title. I know it's a little long for you, but yeah. I like it. I like the cover. A little more cartoony than what I would normally be like, oh, I'm excited about. Liked the solicitation, sounded good. So I did a little more research, started looking into like trying to find preview pages and stuff. It looks a lot like this. So not my like cup of tea. Probably the cover artist is the interior artist, which I do usually like. I'll definitely read the trade when it comes out, just because the solicitation makes it sound good. Bloodstained Teeth, I will pick up. I'm loving that book. I don't even like vampires, but it's drawn beautifully. The color's crazy. I like the trad more.
That's it. Did you see who is it? Oh shoot, the guy that the comedian Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt.
It said he's reading it and like gave it praise. I respect any actors and actresses that give comic book love to the obscure. You go, oh, you're not promoting anything. You just like comics.
Yeah. I saw that Patrick Reynolds reposted that, and I was like, oh, because it's well written.
Mm-hmm.
It's well paced. The art is like, if you're into anything that looks realistic, you're really happy. And if you're into trippy, because the color is like so trippy, like Trad Moore's kind of perfect to do a cover for it. So that makes a lot of sense.
Throwing this Clementine. This is Walking Dead. This is a graphic novel. If you like the handheld phone game or whatever, this is not. It's not even her first appearance because her first appearance was Skybound X1. But this Clementine Walking Dead character, here's the graphic novel. So like you've gotten tidbits all for the past year, and it's finally coming out.
Speaking of Skybound X, have you been picking up those Image 20th or 30th?
The repro, like they just, and we didn't even mention it, but Spawn 1 has a blank one coming out.
Oh, cool.
You can get a blank cover for Spawn 1. But no, I have not been picked because I'm not I don't like the 90s Image. I mean, I'm personally, yes, I interviewed Sylvester. I had Cyberforce. I try. I mean, Spawn is not my cup of tea. I have read I'm trying to read Savage Dragon strictly because no one reads it, but it's at issue 260. So I'm like, why is this every week? It's 8,000 issues, or when it comes out, I'm like, if this ever hits off, man, there's no issues out there. You can't find them. So I'm trying to see if I like the story, but the Image that I like picked up in 2000 to 2010. Like it's some of those stuff I sort of liked Robert Kirkman when he first started writing for him. There's some fun little series there, and then it really got good in the 2010, 2011.
You don't like the 17 reboots of Wildcats?
Or Gen 13, 17.
Yeah. I do like one of those Wildcats reboots. Travis, whatever his name is. Travis Chavis or whatever.
Yeah.
The artwork's great. It's way too good for the book that it's in.
All right, guys. As you can see here, some incentive variants. We talked about most of them. It was a weird week. Either the books were so good we had to show them on the earlier, so there weren't any I can really pull. This is the Batman Superman World's Finest. This is actually the 1 for 50 variant, the Riley Russell cover. It's just sort of fun. It's a bizarro world. Those are I like them. They're sort of fun to look at and just see all the craziness that's going on. Here's your Ashley Wood.
Yep.
It's the actual incentive. These are all reprints, right?
Yeah.
Like they're classic.
Yeah, I wish he was doing new stuff. I'd be so excited about it. But I have all this in multiple forms already, which I'm glad they're doing. Like it's bigger than it's been reprinted in a long time because most of it's been in these small little omnibuses. So it looks great. Like every time I go to the shop, I pick one up and flip through it because I'm like, oh, it's so big. But they do have new stuff coming out pretty soon, I think.
I think I saw him post you on Instagram with that.
Yeah.
Then finally, guys, to find this page, I really couldn't find anything to show off or talk about. So there's a Star Wars cover. It was Crimson Reign had a bunch of covers, but I didn't care.
Yeah.
There was like 10 covers for this book, and there's nothing really. So this is the biggest. I think it's a 1 for 50. It might be a 1 for 25, but I think it's a 1 for 50.
We also haven't highlighted a Star Wars High Republic in a long time. Is that book still coming out?
The Adventures quit coming out, but I think that's a good question. I haven't. You're right. I haven't seen it come out. It's in
I feel like
bit.
Like 2 months ago or whatever, we had like every cover up there because they were so good. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then I don't know that we've mentioned it since then. So,
yeah.
Weird.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. Thank you for the comments and the side. One bit of news, Joe. Did you see the latest post of the newest Marvel potential movie coming out?
I did.
Or your it's Wonder Man. Avengers 9, Wonder Man. I don't know why they're picking that book. I don't know, but supposedly there's actually a director lined up.
Wonder Man? Are you sure? Are you sure you're?
I'm sure. So we get the guy. We get to get the wannabe actor or the big time actor who's also a superhero, or whatever. So we'll see. So just to let everyone know.
Depends on who is Wonder Man, I guess.
Yeah. So
if they have a guy.
Yeah,
that's big enough, can bring anybody. That makes
sense.
It's
like let's put. Of course, I can't say anything. I mean, it's thought the same thing for Iron Man. I mean, like why they do it, and then like, oh, he actually picked the perfect guy, made the Avengers movies. So
yeah, for sure.
But Thanks for
cool.
watching, guys. Catch us next week. We might be all on time. We might not. You never know.
We never know.
Yes. Like, subscribe.